Hey my friends, I just wanted to do a quick update on this marine tank. This was my very first saltwater tank about 1.5 years ago now, and it's a 40 breeder, and I'm actually sitting at the end of it because the glare is horrendous from the windows and the other tanks over there, so hopefully this view will be a little bit better. Nothing special going on here, just wanted to take a look at it, and people often say you should show it more often and that kind of thing. So some of these fish have been in here for 1.5 years, and you can see I've kind of stuck to fish that are small or going to be medium size, and I'll call out a few of them. There's the blue Pacific tang, also known as dory, which kind of has a friendly rivalry with the yellow tang, but that's not uncommon when you get a couple of tangs together. But they're doing fairly well. They don't really bite each other, nip each other. There's my yellow wrasse. I love those guys, and have several of them in various tanks. Got some blue-green chromis in here, I think about half a dozen. You can see those in the top there, kind of a powdery pink blue. Got a coral angel, it's a dwarf angel back there. The orange, there we go. Got a nice cardinalfish. I had a pair of these, and this one basically killed the other one by harassing it and all that. I didn't realize it had gotten that bad. And when I see these in the various marine pet stores or fish stores, they usually are loners. That one's getting pretty big. It looks like he's about 3 inches. So he might end up going into the 180 in the other room, but for now seems okay here. I've got my pair of tomato clowns that have probably been in here 1 year, maybe a little more than that. They're not hosting any anemone right now, but they do have, there's the female, the bigger, and the male in the background there. I've forgotten what that little guy is there, also a dwarf angel. I've got several kinds of damsels in here, as you can see. I love the gold damsels, and I love the blue and yellows. I want to get some more of those. All these have names, common names and scientific names as well, but not going to hear those today. There's the blue cleaner wrasse, and have to watch that guy because it tends to want to pick on puffers, literally pick on them and remove any parasites or perceived parasites. But it's doing better. It's impossible to catch, or I would have given it away or taken it back to the store a long time ago. There's only one puffer in here right now that I'm aware of, and that's one of the gold green spot guys that are technically brackish water, but he was acclimated a long time ago, maybe 1 year ago, to salt water, and hangs out in here, lives in here, and I don't see him right now. Got a goby. There it is right there, yellowhead or golden head. It's got a cave that he's dug out under this rock, and then the rock down at the other end that has the hawkfish perched on it, the last rock down there on the right, also has a nice cave. So he's got both ends covered, and of course, like gobies do, he's got several entrances, front doors, back doors, side doors, windows, all that to get in those. So it's a little skinny. I'm trying to make sure that he eats enough during each feeding, so taking some special care with him. Let's see, who haven't I mentioned? Mentioned the cardinalfish. I hope the hogfish will come back down because it's a character. It was one of my very first fish, and it has been in here almost since it may have been the second fish that I put in here when I was cycling this tank. There's some of the little damsels, electric blue, I guess you would call those. There's several of them in here. Oh, and there's my dotty back. I love those. I've got one in with my corals invert tank as well. Those guys are really cool, and he hangs out in the rocks here a lot. He's got lots of caves that he can slither through and come out at the other end and so forth. And I was gonna do a little spot on this guy here, the shell to the left. Sorry about that algae, but not sorry. I did a water change on this tank, actually all my saltwater tanks last night, and partial change, about 30–40%, and clean the inside of this a little bit, not the outside as you can see over there, but clean the inside a little bit, and didn't want to move that rock because the goby has a house under there. So I just left I could get in there with something thinner, but I'm not concerned about it at all, of course. But this shell, right here, is actually an electric blue marine hermit crab. And you guys may have seen the video I've done several times on the red. Well, this guy is blue, and I made the mistake of giving him a pellet, and so he's all hunkered over that now, and that's been going on maybe 20 minutes. So I decided to go ahead and do a little video, and if he comes out, he comes out. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But you can see some hint of blue kind of on our left there. This is the shell that he came in, and they're considered ornamental crabs, but they do a great job. They really do pick up things well that are left over or dropped, and so they really do contribute to the overall health of the tank and the other fish. But I wish you could see him. He really is an electric blue, like the electric blue on these guys. I need to put some shells in here. He's probably about ready to switch out shells. You always want to keep some different sizes so that they can grow into those. And same thing with the red one I have in the 125 tank. Let's see, these guys get about 2 inches, but I think my red one is probably closer to 3 or 3.5. Like everything, there are normals, but then there are other critters that don't stay in those normals. These guys are spaced out pretty and they look good, so be something more interesting to look at maybe for a minute. I'm going to wrap this up pretty quick. What else? Those guys eat most anything that falls in toward the bottom of the tank, and the red one actually will meet me and take krill and things out of my fingers, take them with his legs, his or her legs. This one not so much, but I'm going to start working with it and see if I can get it a little more acclimated to me and more social to the tank. They're completely coral safe, I forgot to mention that, and they are good algae eaters. But obviously he could do better. There are some other smaller snails in here, crabs and snails. There's a snail right there in that shell. And what else is in here? Sorry. I do have an urchin that came on a rock that I got from James's favorite local fish store over in Knoxville, which names eludes me right now. But I bought a large live rock with some corals and sponges, and didn't realize it had an urchin on it till I got it home, and it's in the 125. But I moved the urchin in here because of the larger puffers being in there. We never did see that puffer, did we? It's weird because usually he comes over to see me, And I did see him a while ago, so maybe he's had enough of me. Okay, guys, I was just gonna mention, I did take down, I had a 10-gallon sitting here that I'd used as a timeout or a quarantine tank, and it had some of the, I think it's called Aptasia, some of just the junk coral that's kind of like weeds in the coral world. I thought they were cool. Had those in here, but make a longer story short, those all crashed on me. It also had a lot of bristle worms and a few crabs in it, stuff like that. So it just kind of did all that on its own, and I lost the light on it. And so I put a dimmer light that I had, and I think that may have contributed to it, but man, oh man, did that stink. And last night when I was doing water changes, I realized I kept thinking I was smelling gas, or that I might have a gas leak. And it was this tank, man. So I took it down, and I like it better gone. So I have a 10-gallon tank, you know, sitting empty. That won't be long. But I can actually see this tank better now, the invert tank. And I can also see this tank a lot better because the end of my bar or whatever counter here in the kitchen is open. There's a lot of salt creep back there that I've got to clean up. A lot of it on the tank still. Like I say, I'm still cleaning up that mess. Okay, well, thanks for watching. A long video, 11 minutes, but you guys know I ramble, so if you're bored and watch all this, if you get to this far, I'm supposed to remind you about the subscriber drive that I've got going, and the main reason for that is I want to get to 1,500. I'm coming up on 13, so that I can do another nice giveaway. And out on my community tab, I'm asking for suggestions about that giveaway, and getting some really good suggestions. I've done several before as I've met other goals, or what's the word? Not landmarks, but you know, as I've reached like 1,000 and 500, and so I want to do one at 1,500, but I don't want to wait for 3 months. But we don't have to, so I want to just mention to please like, share, and subscribe. The sooner we get that to 1,500, the sooner we can do some cool giveaways. I appreciate you guys, and really appreciate if you've listened to all this and watched this, especially those that are not keepers of marine critters. So I really wish I could show you the little puffer, but he might be napping. You know, they sometimes like to lay somewhere, but he's fine. I did see him earlier when I fed. So thank you guys. Take care. Have a safe rest of the holiday weekend.